there are 4 main problems that can happen with a project. I'm going to divide them down into 8 in order to explain them more clearly. The 4 main problems that I hope you don't get in your projects are to be over budget, to be late, to discover near the end that it's not going as well as you thought, and to finish and then the customer is unhappy with the finished result. So let's have a look at those. Problem number 1 of 8 is customer unhappy with a finished result. And the biggest cause of this is that it wasn't clearly enough defined at the start, particularly because time will elapse. So a year or 2 later, they'll have forgotten what they agreed with you. Their requirements will have changed. You might even have a different customer by then. So agree in writing at the start what you're going to deliver. Second problem is over budget due to tasks being omitted. So you've got to be very careful to list the tasks, preferably in all 3 ways, which are the team brainstorm, the structured process of building up a tree of tasks, and researching history and other people, experts who've got answers in their head. So take a while to list the tasks. Third problem is over budget due to scope creep, where little extras are added as you go along, usually by the customer. And how do you stop that? Well, if you've got an agreement in writing at the beginning of what you're going to deliver, then each extra can be signed for. So you can say, I can do that, but it'll cost a bit more. And you need to be assertive about this. Don't let them nibble small things, because the small things will add up. The fourth problem is to be over budget due to bad estimating of tasks. And the answer is don't estimate the average, but estimate halfway between the average and the worst case so that you get some contingency. So that was the 3 ways to be over budget: forgetting tasks, adding on small tasks as you go, and estimating tasks badly. Now, the 5th problem of 8 is lateness due to competing projects. Maybe the resources were just never going to be there and you were overambitious with the projects you were planning to do this year. I think this is a very common problem in organisations. And the answer is you need a Gantt of Gannts. You need a resource profile for each project, and then you need to add up all of those resource profiles to see if you can do the work you want to do, either for all of your people or possibly for your bottleneck resource, your key resource. For example, it might be your IT department. So you need a resource profile for just IT for each project, which you can then add up. If you come on my training course, I can explain how to do this. We can even do an example. The second type of lateness is lateness due to problems cropping up or things that went wrong that you just hadn't planned for. And this is very difficult with projects because you're going into the unknown by definition with a project. Who knows what's going to crop up? So what you need to do is to allow some contingency for that. So you have a risk plan thinking about what might go wrong, and you also put in some extra contingency, ideally time and money, to cover these kinds of things. The 7th of my 8 problems is discovering near the end that it's not going as well as you thought. And clearly this comes from poor monitoring of either progress or cost. And the answer to this is to have a Gantt chart which you colour in every week or every month so you can monitor the progress really carefully. But you also need to monitor the cost, and you need to compare the two. Because it could be, for example, that you've spent exactly what you thought, but you just haven't made the progress. And therefore you are actually late and overspent. So to avoid horrible surprises near the end, you must measure progress on a Gantt chart, you measure what you've spent, and you need to compare the two. And then finally, problem number 8 is all of the above. Customer unhappy, over budget, late. And these come from not learning the lessons from previous projects. So if you don't learn the lessons, anything that's gone wrong before will probably go wrong again. And if you think about the problems that go wrong with your projects, how many have happened before? Probably 99% of them. So very important to do a review at the end of every project, and very important to store those reviews somewhere where you can access them easily when you're listing the tasks for your next project and when you're thinking about the risks, what might go wrong. So there we are. Those are the 8 things that might go wrong, and I hope that's been useful.